Hi, apparently I'm live. I've just been on the old socials just posting that I'm here, so hopefully everything's cool. I just want to do a quick shout out to my hair. This is last week's curls because I haven't washed my hair in a week. I've showered, don't worry. But yeah, my curls have lasted a pretty long time this week and I'm happy. So hello there, welcome back to my channel and my lives. My name is Sam and I write books under the pen name of Frances June, and I write like young adult fantasy fiction. And at the moment, I'm currently doing these live videos just to talk about my novel planning that I do for NaNoWriMo, which takes place over 4 weeks. So October is generally when I start to think about and plan the novel that I'm going to write in November. And if you haven't watched any of the previous lives or any of my other kind of videos on this subject, just head on over to my playlists and stuff on my channel because you'll find them all there. And potentially, I think there's a link in the description to my previously recorded videos from last year. So welcome back. Nobody's here yet, which isn't surprising because I generally just talk to myself on these things. I've made myself a tequila because it tends to make things run a bit smoother. And I hadn't tasted that until just now, and that's really good. So that's always a bonus. If you do happen to drop in, yes, hello, I was going to say, if anybody drops in, please show yourselves. Because I can't see who's here unless you comment. So always comment if you're here. Hello, Eric. So I hope everyone's had a great week. I've had a particularly crazy week this last week. If you follow me on other social medias, you probably know that my little pup Juno had to go in for some surgery. I think it was on Wednesday. She had a lump on her shoulder and we had to have it removed. So for the past week, like since Wednesday, my life has just been kind of chaotic. Just been looking after her and feeling really bad that she's wearing this like inflatable ring around her neck. So it's been kind of sad just seeing her like with a big scar and stuff. And I've been sleeping on the sofa with her, so I kind of feel a bit crazy. And that means that my kind of tasks that I was doing last week ran basically right up until yesterday. So let me just see what the comments are. Just finished degree in UK, not got more time to write. Yeah, I mean, I'll put that up there so other people can see. So it does suck. Trying to find time to write is always the hurdle that we're always trying to get over. And if you can't find time to write right now, like, I wouldn't worry about it. Sometimes that's just life, especially when you're doing a degree. Jesus, like, congratulations on that. That's a lot of work. Yeah, so Juno's kind of been in recovery this week, and I have been in recovery myself, just from feeling super bad for putting her in that situation. I didn't put her in the situation, but, you know, just I felt guilty that I was the one who took her into the vet, and she definitely was not happy with me for being the person who took her into the vet, and I don't think she's forgiven me yet. So hopefully we're going back into the vets tomorrow, just to kind of check over things, and hopefully that's going to be a better time. And we're hoping for good news. So I'm just going to quickly run over what I did do last week, because if you weren't in here and you haven't watched the previous videos and stuff, you might not know that week 2 was all about setting up like a Pinterest board for whatever writing project you've got going on that you're planning for, and also doing character sheets and kind of delving more into your synopsis if you needed to do that. I didn't, because my synopsis was actually surprisingly pretty well written, not well written, but I had like quite in-depth synopsis, which I hadn't expected. I didn't know how much of the story was in me yet. So luckily that's all sorted. My synopsis is fine. So last week I just worked on my Pinterest board. And that just really helped me personally get like understand the vibe of the book and imagine it, because I'm such a visual person. I really like to imagine this world that I'm creating and picture like the streets that people are going to be walking down and the places that they're going to be hanging out at. So I've been gathering pictures of like things that kind of remind me of what kind of world I'm trying to create, as well as like pictures of what I want the characters to look like in my mind, which for me personally just helps. And I also wrote out my character sheets. So I actually only just wrote out my character sheets yesterday. I spent a good couple of hours going through. I printed them off. I even drew some little pictures of my characters, just like doodles of kind of how I'm picturing them based off some of the stuff in my Pinterest board. So yeah, all my character sheets for the 6 kind of main characters that are going to be in the story are done. So the headers that I had in my character sheet were like their name, any kind of nicknames that they have, because I always love it when people throw in little nicknames for characters. I included the birthdays, and to be fair, I didn't include their star sign, but in my mind, when I gave all of these people birthdays, it was mostly based on what star sign I thought they were going to be. So I really should have added that to my sheet. Maybe I might write them in at some point, because I just love like the whole star sign thing of who people are. Like, personally, I'm a Gemini, and I feel like I'm the most Gemini-y person on the planet. I'm trying to get into this like showing comments so that people who are watching this back can see who I'm responding to and what they're saying. So Eric has said, that's so interesting. I would not be able to draw my own characters at all. Yes, I love art. I love drawing, and I go through phases of drawing loads. Usually October is what people do is Inktober, so it's like drawing for every day for a month, and I would usually do that, but kind of for the last few years I haven't been able to fit it in, so I class this as like my Inktober. And then they're not good drawings. It's literally like cartoony kind of drawings of people, and they don't always turn out great, but I don't know, I just think it's like a fun thing to include. If you are so inclined, you could just print out a picture of someone and stick it on like a mugshot. Also, I am going to talk about what I'm doing this coming week, but I just thought I'd recap last week. So also kind of jotted down physical descriptions, any kind of family members that might be important. I chose people's favorite movies, favorite food, and favorite music and favorite memory. Because I think that's like a nice way of getting to know characters, is just knowing these random things that may never ever come up in the story, but it's just something to have in the back of my mind when I'm writing them, because it just adds a bit of depth, I think, particularly for this character. And I kind of like it because it's a bit challenging to think of somebody's favorite music or a favorite movie, because you kind of just want to draw from your own experience. So it's a fun exercise to put you in the mindset of somebody else completely. This character's favorite movie is Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, which I love as a movie. It's not my favorite movie, but just in general for this person, I just felt like it was a good, I don't know, a good little look into their mindset. So I also think I think everybody can kind of include whatever they want on their character sheets, but I think the 3 things that are super important for everybody to think about is to know what kind of secrets their characters are keeping, what this character wants, and then also what they need. So maybe something that they don't realize. And it just gives you a good look at who you're trying to write about. And also, I don't know, I just had a really good time doing it yesterday. And there's a character in particular who's kind of like a jerk. Like, I always love to write jerky characters. I don't know why. And the guy who I was writing to be the jerk, I actually ended up loving that character as I was writing out his sheet. So I'm really excited to write him. So another thing is just like kind of gets you excited to start writing about them and to start bringing them to life. And also these character sheets that I have designed, which anybody can design, but I have added them as a free download on my website. So if you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get access to the VIP page, which has some free downloads. So I think on there at the moment is a short story, a little checklist of how, like, what to go through to publish your self-publish your own novels, and then also this character sheet. And there is a new short story that will be on there at some point soon too. So now that we've got that out of the way, and I'm super hot, I decided to put this jumper on because I was freezing before. Now I'm really hot, which is great. Let's get into what I'm doing this week. So the third week is like a terrifying concept because there's only 1 week left after that. It's like, that's how time works. But it kind of seems like it's crazy that we're on week 3 or coming up to week 3 already. But this is actually one of my favorite weeks when it comes to planning because it's got one of my favorite activities on it. Learn how to speak. So this week, I would suggest everybody kind of delves deeper into their Pinterest board, especially if you're a visual person like I am. But I think for people who aren't visual as well, it can just help you, whilst you're writing, to like look at pictures that you've collected already and not have to stress about it. If you want to describe a place or a person, I'm sorry, I always look at myself on the screen. I'll try and look at the camera. So whether you want to describe a place or a person or just anything, I would just suggest always having that already thrown into a Pinterest board. So my kind of choice of Pinterest board pinning is really just pulling together loads of pictures of the characters that I want to write about. So just people with kind of vague physical properties of the people that I'm writing, so that I can like describe them accurately without having to just try and remember what they look like. I also really like to collect pictures of places so that I can build a town setting in my mind. And although this isn't on my list of things to do, I might actually end up drawing a map of the town that I'm setting this in, because I'm setting it in like a fictional place. But I might end up like drawing out a little map so that I can like decide where all the places are. And then anything else that you want to put on a board this week, which would be helpful, I would suggest anything that kind of just oozes the vibe of the book. So if you were writing like a big fantasy book, you might want to throw in loads of different settings, landscape photography and stuff like that. Personally, for me, I am writing like a dark, I would say like young adult, new adult. It's like a slash book. It's kind of going to be like a dark horror-ish, but not a horror, just like a really dark fantasy book. And it's going to be kind of like creepy and stuff. So I've been gathering lots of pictures of like just creepy things, lots of foggy settings. I love like foggy settings, and in my mind there's already a scene where there's like this big foggy like thing that's happening. So I've just been kind of gathering stuff. I don't know whether to show you, whether that would be something of interest. I don't want to give anything away. However, I would like to say that I have thrown some information up on my NaNoWriMo page already. So if you're on NaNoWriMo, if you like signed up and you go and find my profile, which I'm sure I've got linked somewhere, you will actually be able to read and see a little bit about what I'm writing about this year. So I'm just going to go in and find my Pinterest board, just for the fun of it. Of course, my iPad thinks it's not connected to the internet. Why would it? So let's look on my phone instead. Scoop-a-doop. And I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to pin my hair up because, wowzers, I've got like 3 lights on in here because it's really dark. So let's have a look at my Pinterest board. This is just to kind of give you an idea about like some random stuff. So I don't want to give anything away too much. Where are we? So I've got like this kind of like people running in fog, people at a dance party because I'm going to dance party, some Lost Boy stuff because little spoiler alert, one of the characters in my book is like obsessed with Lost Boys. I mean, who isn't obsessed with the Lost Boys is my question, but that's like his big thing, is like he's obsessed with Lost Boys. So that is something. Where am I? So something. So I'm just reading my notes. The other thing that is on my list for this week, and this is kind of like the big thing in my opinion, is let's have a look. Sorry, just a comment come up. Let's show it to the group. So for horror anything dark, I'd put on any Grimshaw painting. I'm uncultured in that, so I'm gonna Google Grimshaw paintings. Yes, well yeah, exactly. So just for anybody who's, I'm sorry that this kind of, my lives always just take a turn where I just go off on a tangent. So yes, 100%. This is kind of very much the vibe of everything, everything that I'm writing. Very kind of like foggy and rainy and creepy. There's some really good paintings here, so thank you very much. I will be keeping hold of those. So the next thing that I am going to be doing this week, which like I said is like the big thing, is writing out my beat sheet, which is difficult to say if you, like me, just can't ever speak. So I actually only learnt about beat sheets when I did a masterclass course in how to write for television, which I highly recommend if anyone's like interested in writing and stuff. Learning to write for television is a really interesting way to learn how to set up stories and things. So ever since I did this writing for television course and I learned about beat sheets, that's been my favorite thing to do. I love it. So generally a beat sheet is a list of every single thing that happens in your story, which sounds kind of like, whoa, way too much, hold on a second, I don't know what's happening in my story yet. But by the time you actually sit down and write, I feel like your brain does know. That's like my personal opinion. Your brain probably does know what's happening. And especially since you've already written your synopsis. So because you already should have your synopsis written at this point, writing out your beats is basically just filling in the gaps of the things that you've probably written in your synopsis already. So I, in the past, have used Post-its. That is a fun way to do it if you are a very tactile person and you like to have things to touch and to like hold on to and stuff. Personally, for me, I'm already so much of a mess that having Post-its of like all my beats and stuff is just way too much, like way too much. So I tend to do my beats on the app Trello, which I have no affiliation for. So I'm not like trying to sell you anything, but Trello happens to be my favorite planning app for everything. I do everything on it. So I have yet to figure out how to do like share screen on this and stuff. So technical. I'm so technical. So I'm just going to show you my iPad. So Trello is an app which lets you have different boards for different projects. So I don't want to show you kind of like anything in great detail because I literally have a board for everything in here. But I'll show you, I'm just going to find one that I've previously done, which has beats on it. So I'll show you my beats from last year. And this is already separated into parts, which we're not going to talk about till week 4. But what I'll show you is this app. I'm just like contending with screens here now, so I'm sorry that I'm so bad at this. So as you can see on this app, this is so bad. Basically, you can set up. Oh my god! Right, I'll just have to show you like this. So I'm sorry. At some point, I'll figure out how to just like screen stuff. you can kind of write out different little like boxes of text and move them around wherever you want them to be. So that's generally what I do. I would just suggest to download Trello and have a look at it. So I write out every single thing that I think I want to happen in my novel. So it'll be things like character A meets character B. They go to this place. This happens. This person says this. And I just note down every single idea that I have in my head for what happens in the story from start to finish. And it can be, hi Marco. It can be like just literally everything, because you can edit it at some point. Like, I wouldn't worry too much about writing too much. I would say it's better to have too many beats on your beat sheet than not enough. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week, is writing out the beats for my story. And thankfully, because my synopsis is so detailed this year, like, props to me for actually knowing what I'm writing. Like, that was unintentional. Because I already have my synopsis all sorted, I'm pretty sure my beats are going to come quite naturally to me. So I'm just going to set up a new Trello board, make a little text box thing for every single thing that happens, and just leave it as one list. I'm just going to not even think about breaking it down into start, middle, end, or whatever kind of story structure that I'm going to settle on, because we're going to talk about that in week 4. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yes, and then that's like a huge step in planning your novel. Trust me. And once you've done it, you'll feel great for doing it. And then finally next week, like, this seems like a big week, and it kind of is, but also you'll really like be very grateful to yourself for doing it, is trying to sort out some character arcs. So I'm not actually great at doing character arcs. I'm going to be honest. My ambitions for character arcs are great, but my actual like finishing or even starting character arcs in the past have not been great. If anybody watching this is good at doing like the whole character arc thing, then please leave me suggestions in the comments. So I always have this on my list because it's always something that I think will be good, and I will try and do it more this year than I have in the past, because in the past I tend to just stick to like 1 or 2 characters. I don't tend to delve too deep into other characters. But this year I have 2 main protagonists, and I'm writing in 2 points of views. But I also have 3 other characters who are kind of they're secondary characters, so they're not going to have a point of view, but they are going to be pretty important to the whole storyline. And so I'm kind of thinking about writing out a timeline and plotting out everybody's like character arc on the timeline. I'm kind of thinking of it like, I don't know if you've ever seen J.K. Rowling's plotting for any of the Harry Potter books, but that was kind of insane. Like, she just like insanely plotted. I'm not going to do it to that extent, but that's kind of in my mind the way that I'm going to try and do it, is writing out a timeline and then branching off everyone's plot points. We'll see if it happens. I don't know. I'm really, really bad at that part. So it's on my list of things that I'm going to do this week, and I would suggest you do it. But I'm not going to judge you if you don't do it, and hopefully nobody will judge me if I don't do it. But yes, do as I say, not as I do, is how I live my whole life. And that's it for next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, doing the whole beats and everything is my favorite thing. I love doing it. I'm losing my voice because I actually haven't spoken this much this week because I've been looking after Juno. I haven't been going into the office, and I don't think I've had any like Skype meetings or anything, which for me is insane. Like, I've not spoken to anybody apart from my boyfriend this week, and obviously I don't talk this much just to him direct without him ever saying anything back, because that would be insane. So yeah, my voice is now going. So if anybody is still here, are you planning on doing any of these things this week, or are you just kind of gonna see how it goes? I'm gonna sneeze, so just 1 second whilst I go off. I will try and mute. I didn't mute. Sorry. I'm allergic to everything. Like, I literally have allergies to everything. So yeah, anybody that's here, are you... Thank you. I'll put this on the screen. So Marco said, bless you. Appreciate it. I sneeze more than I do anything. I'm allergic to life. Yeah, so if anybody is thinking about writing for Nano or just in general, hopefully this has helped just to kind of get pointers on what you can do to plan. Because sometimes I think that's like the hardest thing, when people think, I really want to write a book, but I don't know how to write a book. The biggest thing that you can do, like, to make it so easy, is just take like a week, a month, like, it doesn't have to be that long, to just do some of these planning things, and then it will help you so much when you actually come to start the story. And then also stay on track for the story, because that is 100% one of the biggest hurdles you will ever come across when you're writing, is staying on the course. I know so many people who start and they never finish, which is like, it's so difficult, especially with life and just finding time to write, which we will talk about next week. Because next week we're going to be covering time management, splitting the beats up into parts, and like deciding chapters and stuff, if like that's what you want to do. But yeah, the hardest thing when you start writing is to continue, and being well prepared is going to help you continue. So yeah, hopefully people find this helpful. I said it at the start of the video, I'll say this now. I already have 4 videos pre-recorded from last year up about all of this. So like 100% go back and check those videos, because they will be helpful. I think they'll be helpful. And yeah, good luck this week if you're planning. Like, I hope that everybody is getting on well. Next week, or this week coming up, is definitely going to be the one that like you make the most progress on, I think. So good luck, and good luck to me as well, because I have a lot of stuff going on this week. I've got to take Juno back to the vets. I've got an electrician guy coming out to fix my car on Tuesday, and then somebody else is going to fix my car on Wednesday, and it's just like a crazy week. So at least one thing I'm going to do is beat sheets, so that's cool. So thank you very much for stopping by. If you're still here, thank you. I'm sorry my setup and stuff is like rubbish. You have no idea. Like, the room that I'm in is just like a room of boxes, and I'm just in the corner, and I've tried to make it all cute. You can't really tell that this light behind me is actually it's like a firework light, so it's like, it actually looks cooler in real life than it does on screen, unfortunately. But this is my life right now. Thanks very much for stopping by. So thank you, Patrick, for always being here for me. I hope that you've had a good week, and I hope to see anybody else next week on Sunday. I don't know what time works best for people, so I kind of just go for what time works best for me. So sorry, I'm selfish like that. But I'll see you guys next Sunday, and we will do the last week of prep, and then we're into actually writing a book. Jesus, how has it become almost November? How does time work? How does time work? We'll cover that next time. Cool. Thank you very much. I will talk to you all later.